No one expected anything unusual to happen that night at the Obsidian Room. The restaurant was famous for being perfect. It was the kind of place where people spoke softly, where forks barely touched plates, and where mistakes could cost someone their job. Rich and powerful people came there not just to eat, but to prove they belonged at the top of the world. Arthur Penhaligon walked in with the confidence of a man who owned half the city. He was tall, well-dressed, and used to being obeyed. People knew his name. They knew his company. They knew his money. What they didn't know was how tired he was. Years of running a billion-dollar empire had taken their toll, but nothing exhausted him more than his daughter. Lily was 7 years old. She wore a stiff dress chosen for her, not by her. The fabric scratched her skin. The lights were too bright. The sounds were too sharp. Every clink of silverware felt like an explosion in her ears. She sat stiffly in her chair, hands clenched, eyes wide and darting. She was already overwhelmed before anything went wrong. Isabella, Arthur's fiancée, noticed Lily's discomfort and felt only irritation. She believed appearances mattered more than feelings. She leaned close and whispered sharp instructions, telling Lily to sit still, to stop moving, to behave. Lily tried, but her body wouldn't obey. Anxiety flooded her senses. When a waiter nearby dropped a tray of wine glasses, the sound shattered the room. Lily didn't jump. She collapsed. She screamed in pure terror, a sound that cut through the restaurant like a blade. She covered her ears and rocked on the floor, sobbing and gasping for air. People stared. Some whispered. Others reached for their phones. Isabella tried to drag Lily up by the arm, angry and embarrassed. Arthur froze, torn between stopping Isabella and protecting his daughter, unsure how to help. That was when Nora saw her. Nora Kingsley was a waitress who had learned how to disappear. She moved quietly, kept her head down, and worked hard. Life had taught her that attention was dangerous. She needed this job. Her mother was sick. Rent was overdue. One mistake could ruin everything. But when Nora looked at Lily, she didn't see a problem. She saw fear. She recognized it instantly. She had seen it in her younger brother growing up. She knew this wasn't bad behavior. This was panic. Without asking permission, Nora dimmed the lights near the table. She grabbed a clean napkin and knelt on the floor beside Lily. She didn't touch her. She didn't speak. She placed the napkin over her own head like a tent and sat quietly. The screaming slowed. Lily noticed the strange, calm presence. Curiosity replaced terror. Nora lifted the napkin slightly and whispered that sometimes the world was too loud, and it was okay to hide. Lily crawled under the napkin with her. The screaming stopped completely. The restaurant stood frozen in disbelief. Arthur watched his daughter breathe calmly for the first time in years. He watched a waitress do in seconds what experts couldn't do in hours. Something inside him shifted. That night, Arthur offered Nora a chance. A trial position at his estate. Nora didn't know it then, but accepting meant stepping into danger. The next morning, Nora lost everything. She was fired. She was evicted. Someone powerful wanted her gone. With nowhere else to go and a sick mother to protect, she accepted Arthur's offer. Blackwood Estate was massive and silent. Lily barely spoke. Isabella watched Nora closely, smiling sweetly while plotting quietly. She sabotaged Lily's comfort items. She changed food. She created traps meant to make Nora fail. Nora adapted. She listened. She learned Lily's signals. She turned fear into games. Slowly, Lily laughed. She smiled. She trusted. That made Isabella dangerous. During a charity gala, Isabella replaced Lily's soft dress with a painful one meant to cause a meltdown. Nora destroyed an expensive sweater to make Lily something safe to wear. Lily walked into the gala calm and confident. The crowd melted. That night, Isabella poisoned Nora's mother. The attempt failed only because Nora acted fast. Evidence revealed Isabella was a con artist planning to steal everything. In the final confrontation, Isabella tried to kidnap Lily. Nora risked her life to stop her. Lily herself fought back, saving Nora. Isabella was arrested. Justice followed. Nora packed her bags, believing her role was over. Arthur stopped her. He chose her, not as help but as family. Years later, Lily thrived. Nora became her mother. Arthur built a new life based on understanding, not control. It all began with one quiet moment under a napkin, proving that sometimes the kindest person in the room is the strongest. Years passed. Lily grew into a confident young girl who understood herself. Arthur rebuilt his life around empathy instead of image. Nora became Lily's mother in every way that mattered. And whenever Lily felt overwhelmed by the world, she remembered the first person who showed her it was okay to hide, and then to heal. Life after Isabella's arrest did not suddenly become perfect. Healing was slow. Some days Lily woke up calm and curious. Other days she woke up shaking, afraid that everything good could disappear again. Nora understood this. She never promised Lily that fear would go away forever. Instead, she promised that Lily would never face it alone. They built new routines together. Every morning began quietly. No loud alarms. No sudden voices. Nora would open the curtains just enough to let soft light into the room. She would sit on the floor beside Lily's bed and wait until Lily was ready to speak. Sometimes Lily talked right away. Sometimes she didn't. Both were okay. Breakfast became their favorite time. Nora let Lily help prepare simple food. Stirring, pouring, choosing plates. These small choices mattered. They gave Lily control over her world. Arthur often joined them, still awkward, still learning, but trying. Lily began asking him questions too. Real questions. Not the polite ones adults expected, but honest ones. Arthur answered every single one. At school, things were harder. Lily struggled with noise and crowds. There were setbacks. There were days when Nora had to pick her up early. But Lily no longer felt broken. She knew how to ask for space. She knew how to breathe. And she knew someone would come for her. Arthur changed as well. He stepped back from work. He stopped caring so much about what people thought. For the first time, he listened more than he spoke. He admitted his mistakes. Lily saw that too. Nora often wondered how her life had changed so completely. She had once been invisible. Now she mattered deeply to someone who needed her. She still visited her mother every day. She never forgot where she came from. She taught Lily kindness, patience, and strength. Years passed slowly, then all at once. Lily grew taller. Her voice grew stronger. She learned to advocate for herself. She learned that being different was not something to hide. On one quiet evening, Lily sat beside Nora and asked why she had helped her that night in the restaurant. Nora smiled and told her the truth. She said she saw a scared child who needed understanding, not control. Lily nodded as if she had always known. The world was still loud, still messy, still unfair. But Lily was no longer afraid of it. She had learned how to face it in her own way. And it all still traced back to that one small act of kindness, when a waitress chose compassion over fear and changed a life forever. Nora listened every time. She never rushed Lily or corrected her feelings. She reminded her that emotions were not problems to fix but messages to understand. Some evenings they sat together in silence, watching the sky change colors outside the window. Other evenings they talked for hours about simple things. Favorite books, favorite smells, favorite quiet places. Arthur continued changing too. He learned that being present mattered more than being powerful. He missed meetings. He turned down deals. He stopped chasing approval. For the first time in his life, he chose peace over ambition. And though it wasn't easy, he felt lighter. The estate itself changed. Loud parties disappeared. The halls felt warmer. Staff learned to respect Lily's needs. What was once a cold, echoing house slowly became a home. Nora never forgot who she had been before all of this. She still remembered the fear of eviction, the exhaustion of long shifts, the weight of invisibility. Those memories kept her grounded. They reminded her that kindness was not something reserved for the powerful. It was something anyone could choose. One afternoon, years later, Lily returned from school upset. A classmate had mocked her for needing quiet time. Lily cried not because she felt weak, but because she felt misunderstood. Nora held her and reminded her that understanding takes time, and not everyone learns at the same pace. Lily wiped her tears and said she would try again tomorrow. That night, Lily wrote a short note and placed it on Nora's bedside table. Said thank you for listening, for waiting, for staying. Nora cried softly after Lily fell asleep. Life moved forward. There were new challenges, new fears, new moments of doubt. But there was also trust. There was safety. There was love. And in a world that often demanded silence from those who struggled, Lily learned she was allowed to take up space. Quietly, bravely, and in her own way.